welcome to episode 12 of Exploiting the Explicit, where we exploit the obvious, what's right in front of us, in order to learn from life and grow with each other. I'm your host, Abigail Hathaway.
And I'm your co-host, Corey Diamond. Diamond in the rough. Rough
Diamond in the
diamond.
house. You're not rough, you're smooth.
Ah,
Yeah.
suave.
And today's episode, well, first we want to thank all of you for tuning in again and for any new subscribers. And we have some interactive comments recently. So we thank you as well for engaging in our
Yes.
conversations.
Yes, thank you. We do this for you.
Yes. To help enlighten and spread love.
Spark curiosity. Spark insights. Speaking of insights, Abigail, what's on your mind?
Today's topic is casting your pearls amongst swine, and
Mm.
why we need to be careful in what we share with others,
Mm.
especially who we share things with.
Mm.
Learning to share good things with only those that actually feel good.
Mm.
Notice how there's people in your life, in your past, where, like, you just won the lottery
Mm.
and you don't go and tell the world. You keep that secret because the
Mm.
swine will come and destroy you and trample you, because then that is your pearl. Or you've gone and shared great news with who you thought was a friend,
Mm.
just for your gut to be like, oh, I shouldn't have said that, because they just made you feel worse about it. Or they
Mm.
turn it on them, and then
Mm.
the whole entire response is just how, like, they have to one up you.
Mm.
Oh, well, I did this and it was, you know, better or whatever. I don't know.
Mm.
But casting your pearls amongst swine, feeding your energy into black holes or energy
Mm.
vampires, and why it's so important for our awareness and discernment of who we share good things and even bad things with. Because we might think, oh, well, if it's bad, we can share it with anyone. Who cares? No.
Mm.
Same concept. They can amplify the negativity, and then
Mm.
it could come back at you tenfold.
Mm.
What are
That
your
is
thoughts?
real. That's so real. Like, as you were talking, I just had so many instances flash up in times in life where I trusted someone with good news and it backfired, and they
Mm-hmm.
just like drained whatever energy or enjoyment out of that situation based on how they responded.
Yes.
Or I've had times when I share bad news with people, expecting them to like be encouraging, and then they're just like either they don't care, they just don't match it with the level of empathy that you might want, or they just make it all about them. Or one of
Mm-hmm.
the worst things is when people just give you like ham-fisted sayings when you're dealing with something bad. For
Oh, like
example,
recited from a
yeah, just
script.
like a recited script where they'll be like,
Yeah.
it'll everything works out for a reason, and it's just like that was like the least, like you might as well just say I don't care.
Right,
That would
right.
have been more meaningful to me
Yeah.
than that little ham-fisted
Mm-hmm.
response. So yeah, no, totally want to be mindful about who we're sharing whatever pearls that come up in life with, because not everybody deserves to be a part of that special moment. Not
Yeah.
everybody deserves to be part of that difficulty. Some people you need to protect your energy from, because the ones that are meant to be there and that will trust, like that's worthy of being trusted with that thing, you'll know it. You'll feel it deep down that okay, this is someone that I can trust. This is somebody that's going to be there for me. And the ones who's not, you don't just go to anybody with any secret. Like, and what is that? That trust is built over time.
Yeah.
You know who you can trust your pearls with because you have trusted them before in the past, and they have been there, and they've shown you that they can be trusted. So, for
Right.
example, you win the lottery, there's very few people that I would trust with that knowledge or
Right.
information that I just won the lottery. Because you see people that like deep down, no matter how cool they are, if they found out you was rich, all of a sudden they would switch up.
Right. Right.
You know,
Mhm.
and so you
So
got to go
true.
with your gut on that.
Mhm.
You got to realize, and it's not a judgment on them as people. It's not like, oh, they're sucky people or whatever. It's just, I think a lot of that is just human nature, and people are inclined to be selfish, I would say.
Mhm.
And so if they see that they can get something from you, then that's what their mindset defaults to is, all right, how can I make an advantage out of this situation? And that is the swine mentality, if you ask
Right.
me. It's
Right.
like the swine mentality is, okay, what can I extract from
Right.
this person in
Yeah.
this moment? Because yeah,
Regardless of how they're affected by it,
it's
because it's
like
for their gain.
it's hard out here in the mud, right? And so
Mhm.
when you dealing with the pigs, they used to be in the mud, and so the way they're going to treat something that could give them an advantage is like, well, they only have a mud mentality. They're
Right.
not going to have a pearl mentality of
Right.
abundance mentality of
Refinement,
refinement. No, they're not going to have a wealth
purity.
mentality. It's
Mhm.
going to be like a mud mentality. It's
Right.
like, how can I,
Slop all over this. Literally.
Yes, literally. And so yes, to me it's like this whole like thought about cast your pearls among swine is like, what direction are you putting your energy, and like how are you allowing your trust within God, within yourself, within others be either amplified and utilized in the right way, or whether you allowing it to be like watered down and like misused,
Yeah.
or
Mhm.
like yeah, just like abandoned
Mhm.
in a way, like.
It reminds me of my well theory. Like, we all have the well of wisdom within us.
Mhm.
And you don't go around. I learned this the hard way. I used to go around and splash everybody that
Mm.
walked by my well. Like, oh,
Mm.
listen to my Abigailisms, listen to my theories and philosophical concepts that I just discovered. And it was always to the wrong audience. It was casting the pearls, the treasures that I found from life amongst the swine, where they would just tear it apart or think I'm crazy, and it was quite unbelievable. But I learned to keep that holy water sacred within, and now people can go come to the well and draw the water.
Mhm.
So it's like then I can share my pearls with other pearls, and
Mhm.
that eliminates like those that come and approach me, for what's within, versus me trying to grab everybody's attention that just shows up in this, external
Mm.
existence, to like reel them in, be like, hey, look, hey, listen. It just diminishes the pearls. It,
Mm.
it drains the well instead of replenishes the well
Yeah.
when you do that.
Yeah. And it reminds me kind of how, like, there's a saying where you can lead a horse to the well, but you can't force it to drink.
Yeah,
And I realize if
right.
you're just going around splashing people, that is not giving them the opportunity to seek out that knowledge.
Right. I led
Bec-
them to the well, but I was
yeah.
forcing them to drink and they couldn't
Yes.
drink it. Yeah,
Yes.
they weren't
And
ready.
it's like, when people have a desire for deeper knowledge, deeper wisdom, they will like do things to attain that. Like
Mm-hmm.
whatever you get for free, you're not going to value. If somebody's just trying to hand out wisdom to you, you're going to be like, it's degraded in their eyes, right? But people that take the time to come watch our podcast, listen to us, they are like hungry for that. They're thirsty for that knowledge. We're
Mm-hmm.
not just splashing out knowledge randomly. This
Right.
is this is stuff that we putting intention into,
Mm-hmm.
and we're like allowing God to flow through us, and then they are giving their energy back, and they are like hungry for that, and so
Mm-hmm.
it's like a
Yes. So we're replenishing the
symbiosis.
well.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. And they're
Mm-hmm.
hungry for it, so they are like being fed, being received. But it's
Mm-hmm.
that intention. It's that intention behind it that
Right.
and that's just an example I thought of because we're on the show. But like people that are actually taking the intention, the effort to come watch this, they are the types of people that you want to cast your pearls before.
Yeah.
Not people that you go out. just randomly on the streets, or
Mhm.
people that you know in your life that um could really give a care less about
Mhm.
whatever spiritual philosophy or whatever i- insight that you have. You trying to um feed them something that they aren't
Mhm.
even
Right,
ready
well, and then
for.
it comes back to your own ego of
Hmm.
being of like significance and importance, because it's like, why do we even need to tell anyone certain things? It's like back then when I was just constantly sharing, it was like I wanted the world to know my discoveries of my own self growth, because it was so fascinating and so far from what I was used to, what I was born into, what I was
Hmm.
constantly exposed to.
Hmm.
It felt like magic, like the world needs to know this, not realizing how far I was behind. Like,
Mm.
I'm just learning this. Everyone already seems to know most of this. But
No. Well, I mean, we're all connected to God in some way. And so
yeah.
God is the ultimate source of wisdom, the ultimate source of knowledge. And so if someone's connected to him, then yeah, they will have the inkling. But it's almost like there's a scripture that says like one person plants, another person harvests.
Mhm.
And so it's like a lot of times people may have like the seed of wisdom or seed of something inside them, but then it takes you to like spark that so it can grow in their life.
Right, so it can germinate,
Yeah,
yes, and
yeah,
then actually sprout and
yeah,
turn into something.
yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of like feeling and sprouting within, I just want to bring up the concept of the discernment aspect of knowing,
Mm,
well, how do I know if this is swine or a pearl? It's
mm-hmm.
like when from what I've noticed in hindsight, studying like the interactions and the patterns, it's always that my gut does something to try to stop my speech from continuing when I go to
Yes,
share something, that my gut's like, don't tell this person.
yes.
Like, even if it's someone that does normally amplify, it's like it's still supposed to be secret
Yes.
until it reaches a certain form of germination in that seed being planted before it can be shared, because then that means you're going to
Mm-hmm.
drown it. And
Mm-hmm.
you can drown a seed before it grows. And that's the biggest thing, because then there's also people, when you go to speak to them some good news, and your gut's like, you can share this,
Yes.
although you've kept this a secret for years, this person you can share this with,
Uh-huh.
versus some, like that
That
instinct saying,
yeah.
do not share. And every single time I've ever gone against my gut feeling and shared something my gut told me not to share, it always left me worse off, feeling miserable, or something taken from me spiritually.
Oh yeah.
One example was, I was telling this one gal about how I had perfect posture. I was literally complimented everywhere I go on my posture back when I was a personal trainer before the pandemic. And it was just something that I worked so hard on, and like captured, I guess. I captured it. And then I casted my pearl amongst swine, and
Mm-hmm.
with full passion, full force, I shared with her what I did, how I achieved this type of posture, what it makes you feel like, the difference when you go into a room, a crowd, and then like all of a sudden, like a thief in the night, I literally watched her go from this to like this, all the way up. And as she did that, I went down. And it was like I instantly learned how, like, I literally just transferred my pearl to the swine, and it was taken from me.
Mm.
And literally to this day, I've never been able to get my posture back. But that was also because I went back into hell, and now I'm on my way up. So let's see. I'll recapture my
There
posture,
you go.
let's say.
Yeah. She
Yes.
siphoned you.
Yeah. I
She
was
was like,
siphoned.
yeah,
Yes. And I felt it. And I
yeah.
watched it happen. And that changed my whole perspective on what it means to cast your pearls amongst
Mm.
swine.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like that X-Men character, Mystique. Have you ever seen her, the blue woman? She could
Mm-hmm.
like take shape shift and like
Mm.
like
Okay.
drain people of their
That character comes from
energy.
somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, that is very, very interesting story, and I definitely believe that we have to be careful about discerning who we reveal things to. And when you were talking about like the gut feeling,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, like people in the audience, comment down below if you have had that gut feeling before you went against it and it backfired, because I totally can relate to what that is like. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's like some things just not meant to be shared.
Right.
Like no matter how much you trust somebody, like somebody, there's just some things that just need to stay between you and God. And and like you said, I like how you mentioned that sometimes it's just to germinate. Like it's not time to share it. That doesn't mean you never can. But if you listen to your gut, you'll know like if it's the right time or not. Because I also have
Yeah.
this like inclination that if you share things too soon,
Mhm.
sometimes it can cancel out
Yeah, it's the
whatever
inertia.
thing.
Like if the thing you're trying to like build is a boomerang and you throw the boomerang, but in the throwing the boomerang is telling someone about it, they could throw their boomerang and knock yours out of the sky. It's that inertia that then takes your action off of its trajectory.
Yeah, or apparently, like with the posture thing, they
Mhm.
could just take your boomerang and not throw it back.
Yeah,
And
right, exactly. Like literally. And then you have to somehow capture it. I've tried everything to try to like re-spark that in
yeah,
me.
yeah,
And I mean, it's coming back now that I've like rewired myself. I'm getting back into my trainer mindset. Like I'm
hmm,
reactivating those muscle memories.
yeah, yeah,
And I mean, I've noticed a difference. My little hump's going
yeah. There
away.
you go. My hump, my hump, my hump. Oh wait, different.
My lovely lady lumps. Wait, this is copyrighted. Probably.
Right,
We do not have rights to that song or lyrics. Please
right.
do not sue.
There we go. But yeah, so no, definitely, I think that figuring out how to be more discerning in our relationships, in our communications with people, I think is a good way to navigate life in general. Like even if you're at work, for example, you might have a good idea on a project that you might want to start on. The advice I would have is start on a project first before you tell somebody about it. Because if it's just an idea, you would either cancel out the energy or they could take the project and go with it too. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
It's like some things you just got to make sure there's like there's some roots established before you share it with
So you don't get
people.
blown away. You don't want to
Yeah.
be a leaf, you need to be a rock.
Yeah.
You need to be rooted. Or tree. A tree.
Yeah, like a tree,
Yeah.
yeah,
Tree
or
of life.
yeah.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's just like, yeah, make sure you got that strong foundation, that solid foundation. I mean, for me, what really helps me to increase my level of discernment is like I do a routine every day of like prayer, meditation, like getting connected to God, like really listening. Cause it's like when you learn how to listen to God and like your spirit and
Hmm.
like channeling that frequency, then it helps you be more precise in your interactions throughout the day.
Yeah.
But if you don't, like, if you just wake up and you start your day and you just like, oh, shoot, 5 minutes before work, and that's the energy, that's the frequency you're going to be on the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And if that's how you starting out your day, then you might get you might end up making a mistake and
Yeah.
telling
Things will
somebody,
reflect that.
yeah,
Hmm.
telling somebody something that you probably should not have told them, or doing something that you probably didn't mean to do. It's all about that intention,
Hmm.
and so it's like starting out early in the morning, just with some quiet time. If you can't do 30 minutes or an hour, at least try to do 10, 15 minutes and just like still your mind, still your
Yeah.
heart, still your thoughts. And I truly believe that like as you develop that habit, discernment can begin to like manifest in your
Hmm.
life. Whereas
Hmm.
like if you don't have any like discipline or routine or like practice that will help you learn how to listen, because that's what that gut feeling is. It's like something that's trying to talk to you,
Yeah.
and it's like, hey, but if you're not listening, if you're not in a posture of listening, then you might miss out on what's being said.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I agree. If any of you out there have a similar viewpoint or experience that you'd like to share, please comment below. Let us know because we'd like this conversation to continue and grow.
Mm, grow it up.
Yes, grow it up. We row to grow. Rowing in life, our
Row,
actions, to get through.
row your boat gently down the stream. Life is but a dream,
Is it?
and it really is.
It really
It's
is.
the Matrix.
Yes. Well, first in mind, second in body. What's in the mind but a dream?
Exactly.
It's like a thought, a dream. What's the difference of, you know, within? I mean, everything had to come from a thought to begin with, but isn't that also a dream?
This is
Because
this is a rabbit hole we can go down for sure. Like, don't get me started.
well, speaking of dreams, I mean, earlier I shared with Corey about the time I learned to ride a bike from a dream.
That was an interesting story. Yeah,
Yes.
tell them about that.
So
This is a pearl for y'all.
when I was like 4 or 5, maybe 6 years old, I was so young. I don't think I didn't start first grade yet. I don't believe. And I just when I learned to ride a bike, I couldn't without training wheels. I could not ride a bike without training wheels to save my life. And I tried and I tried and I tried and I wouldn't get up. I got obsessed until I could. And no matter what I did, I couldn't do it. And then I went to bed one night and I had a dream that I could ride my bike without training wheels. And there was no difference in this dream of like physics or anything. It was literally the exact same deck, the same bike, as if I was awake. I rode my bike without training wheels in the dream. And I woke up and I told my guardian, and I was like, I need to go ride my bike. I can ride my bike. I rode it in my dream. And they were like skeptical, because who wouldn't be? I go outside on the deck and I get on that bike. The training wheels are removed and I could ride it. It's like literally I lived it in my dream and the muscle memory in the dream transferred to my muscle memory in reality. This dream, whatever it could be. And I could ride my bike to this day. Now I love mountain biking. It's my number one hobby.
That is awesome. No,
Yeah.
that story was really cool when you told me
Yeah.
about that, and to me, it like totally lines up with everything I've learned about dreams and like how the mind works
Mhm.
and like the power of visualization,
Mhm.
like everything that you want to have in life, you have to see it in your mind's eye before
Right.
you can see it in the external world.
Mhm.
And there's even a scripture that supports this because it says, God's people without a vision perish.
Mm.
That
Of
is
course it would be
in
in
the
the
Bible,
Bible.
right? Yes.
Mhm.
So if you
Yeah.
if you cannot see it
Yeah.
in your mind, eye first, then you're aimless. It's
Right.
almost like that boat that's going down the stream. Instead of it having a destination, it's just aimlessly floating
Yeah.
down the
Yeah.
stream. And if you're just gonna like, if that's how you choose to live life,
Mhm.
is just floating down the stream,
Mhm.
chilling, that's
Merrily,
cool,
merrily, merrily, merrily.
right? But don't expect life to get better.
Yeah.
Don't.
Well, it kind of reminds me of like this painting, for example. I
Mm.
mean, the artist must have had to visualize an end
Oh, for sure.
goal because you don't just start painting and slapping it on there, which you might. I mean, there's cool exercises you could do to just start drawing random stuff until you see something and then create it. But most of the time, when there's like an end product made and developed, it was first seen within here to then transfer from a one-dimensional to a two-dimensional to a three-dimensional state.
Yes. That's one of my favorite quotes, and I can't remember who said it. I mean, I listen to a ton of these different gurus, but
Mm-hmm.
like they said, like everything you see externally started out inside of someone's head first.
Yes.
You
Yes,
know, and it's
exactly.
like when you
Everything.
think about that, it's
Mm-hmm.
just it should blow you away. Like it should like cause you to really rethink the way that you consider the abilities that you have in life to really like create and add to this world. Like we're not helpless. Like we're not out here just at the mercy of the environment and life circumstances. But
To an
like,
extent, that's a whole nother topic
yeah,
we can go down a rabbit hole on.
hey, we can go down that rabbit hole. But it's like if you are able to see something, that is the only limitation that you have into what can be designed externally. And little do you know, the place that you are in life right now is the place that you saw beforehand. And if you couldn't see anything differently, that's okay. That is the level of consciousness that you were at. But what is it? As you get wisdom, as you get knowledge, you have to apply it. And so whenever you get the knowledge, whenever you get the revelation that you can shift things, then you should do it.
Yeah.
Because the thing about it, when you're a child, you think as a child, but when you grow up, you think as an adult. That is also
In
another
theory.
scripture, right? But that's what if you are, you know, growing up. Now if you're
Right.
that's
You
not
actually are
theory,
grown up.
right?
Yeah, right.
If you are still if you are past the age of 18 and still thinking like a child, then that is, showing that you haven't grown up.
Right,
And
right. I see what
so,
you mean. Yeah.
yes.
Mhm.
And so as you learn something, then you have the responsibility to put that into action as an adult, right?
Yeah.
And so when we're children, we're at the mercy of the world around us. We're at the
Mhm.
mercy of all the people that were put in our path to uh, take care of us or provide for us or all those things. So this statement does not apply to kids because kids are innocent, defenseless. That's where it's up to us to help shape their lives and shape the world for them
Mhm.
because they don't have that same ability. But once you become an adult, once you grow up, there's no excuse for you being at the mercy of the world around you. Does that not mean that bad things don't still happen? Yes, bad things still happen to adults. But how you respond to that and what you do with that is your responsibility.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And so I say all that to say, now that you know that, okay, the life I'm living is a result of whatever decisions I made or
Mhm.
choices I made or things that I settled for or
Mhm.
whatever, now what do I do with the rest of my life? Now
Right.
what do I do with this next day, the day after that? Because you can choose to ignore it. You can choose to
Mhm.
say, I don't believe this. And that's fine.
Mhm.
Your life's going to stay the same way
Yeah.
it is.
Right, cuz decisions design your destiny, and not deciding is still a decision because you're
Mhm.
deciding not to decide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
then therefore your life becomes what you decide, which is nothing. If you decided nothing, your life becomes nothing.
exactly. It's like that is how swine remain in the mud is because they just waiting for slop.
Yeah, they
But
take anything that's given to them.
yes, and like we are
Ugh.
above that. We are not going to just wait in the
Yeah.
mud. We are going
Right.
to like, you know,
Yeah.
if we find the pearls in life, value them and do
Yeah.
something with them.
Don't poop all over them.
Not poop on them. Don't like, eat them. Don't trample them. Like
Yeah.
you get a pearl, you get a nugget of wisdom, you get a nudge from
Yeah.
God, you get some insight. Nurture that. Like
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
Like when you find a pearl and you have a gem, like you polish it, you keep it safe, you protect it, you 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 put it on a pedestal, right? I mean, you're like jewelry, you have like the really expensive pearls and diamonds safe
yeah, yeah,
and taken
exactly,
care of. There's the
exactly.
cheap stuff, throw it around.
Yeah,
Doesn't
well,
matter. It can go in the mud.
exactly. Feed it to the pigs.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, the cheap stuff, feed it to the pigs. But when you get
Mhm.
that pearl, you got to make sure that you nurture it. So if like in the past, have you been the type of person that like somebody came to you with some type of good news and you just wasn't able to reciprocate, that's fine. Go ahead, let that energy go. Take accountability for it. Be like, hey, trampled that person's pearl. If they're still alive or you're still cool with them, maybe go reach out to that person. Be like, hey, I apologize. I realized when you told me your good news the other day, I wasn't as receptive as I should have been, and I just want to let you know I'm really happy for you. That's setting that straight. That's making that thing right. That's setting that frequency back to where now you can receive pearls again, receive good things because you're making it right. But if you don't go back and like correct that, that's also something that, is holding you back from getting to
Right.
that next
Right.
level. So,
Right. Choose love over like lust. Choose, to be supportive instead of, taking
yeah.
away from someone. Like
Yeah.
increase the positivity. Don't
Yeah.
add to it.
It all goes back to the golden rule.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you want to do unto others as you want them to do unto you. And just think about it in the sense of if you get some good news, you want people to be happy for you. You want people to, celebrate with you. You want people to be compassionate about what you're dealing with in life. And so if that's what you want, then you should reciprocate that to other
Yeah.
people. You should make sure that that's how you leading in your relationships in your life with other people, that
Mm-hmm.
you're being that type of person, that type of energy, that safe space
Mm-hmm.
that you want people to be for you.
Mm-hmm. And if you don't have the skills yet developed, you're seeking to become that type of character
Exactly.
in person.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
How do I become that kind of person?
Right.
That's
Mm-hmm.
the question
Mm-hmm.
to be looking on, reflecting on. So, yeah, in 2025, no more swines, no more trampling pearls. We gotta make sure we take our pearls and nurture them
Yes.
and put them in their safety boxes.
Yes. Our precious pearls are protected from here on out.
Yes.
No more swine.
No more swines in the mines.
You speak it, Corey.
You use your discernment as you learn it. Don't
Yes.
burn it.
All right. Speaking truth. Well, we want to thank you all for watching today's episode 12 of Exploiting the Explicit, and we hope that these pearls have been casted amongst other pearls. And we look forward to hearing from you and what thoughts might have been sparked throughout this conversation.
Yes, thanks everyone for tuning in, and we looking forward to the next one. Let's go.